Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to the Abomination Goddess podcast. I have Casie with me.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome. Casie is an author of Abomination Born, and you can see the book on the screen. It is a fictional portrayal of her real life experience with the mystical realms, which is so cool. Her action-packed book is full of lessons, insights, and calls for other Abomination Born folks around the world to start connecting. She is an award-winning public speaker, and I think that you will find by watching this podcast and reading her books that she just effortlessly draws her audience into her world, both in her book and on the stage. And while you listen to the podcast, you will see exactly what I mean by that because she is amazing. So, welcome, Casie. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.
Yes. And I am Ashley Kim. I am the author of Villain Era Goddess. It is a self-help book that I wrote to help women on their journey to set boundaries, build confidence, and heal themselves. It is a very honest, open look at what I went through and the tools that I used to survive my villain era. And I hope that it helps other women out there overcome some of the obstacles that I face. And, if anything, hopefully my book just serves as your new best friend so that you have somebody to go through all of this with. So, yay, welcome everybody. Casie, you are glowing today. I just want to say that. I
Oh,
was thinking that while we were chatting earlier, and I didn't say it out loud, so I wanted to say that out loud. You are just glowing today. I love it. Okay, so shall we hop into our weekly show and tell?
yes.
Okay, let me see here. Let me get everything set up. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes.
All right, let's hop into do we want to do the buffalo and turtle or tortoise cards first, or what do you want to get into?
Let's do that the the table with the turtle and the yeah, let's do the turtle first. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yes, tell us about this.
Well, I was at the Kansas City Metaphysical Fair this weekend, and there was this wonderful lady, two Kelly Two Wolves, and she made that wand.
Wow. Oh, it is so cool. Oh, hold on. Let me
Oh,
stop sharing for a second so people can see this. This is so cool.
there, there.
Oh my gosh.
This is
And it,
buffalo hide right here, abalone with um, a, a quartz buffalo in front, and then this is a green turtle shell. They eat turtle, and so this is a green turtle shell. And then on the back is the white buffalo
oh,
calf woman.
I love it. Oh,
And
that is so
and
neat.
so she is a Lakota, and so I was telling her about my episodes with white buffalo calf woman,
Mhm. Yes,
and
I love it.
yeah.
Oh, that is so cool.
And inside, you know how we talk about how important pebbles are from your driveway? So
Uh-huh.
inside is a rattle, and most of them are from her driveway stones. And
Yeah.
she says it to me, and I'm thinking she's thinking probably in an apologetic way, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I love driveway
Yeah.
stones.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I love that.
And she put a few crystals in here also with
Oh,
it. And
yeah.
so I haven't had a chance to let it sing for me yet, but
Yeah.
I just love this.
Yes. Oh, I love that too. Oh, it's gorgeous. So gorgeous. And I love how it is just sitting in the middle here.
Yeah, that's on my table with that's one of my grids.
Yeah, so pretty. And I will show the so that people can see this again too. Let me make this a little bit bigger.
Yeah, that's the back
There.
side. And it's made with deer hide.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, that is so cool. Um, yeah, that is awesome. And I think going to some of these shows that are in some of the bigger cities, you get to meet more people like that too, because
Yeah.
where I'm from, nobody has anything like this.
Yeah, I've never seen it before. And She is part Hungarian, like
What?
me.
Oh my
I
gosh.
couldn't
What are
believe
the
it.
odds? Yeah.
Her
Oh, I
father,
love
on her
that.
father's side, on her mother, she's Lakota, and on her father, she's Hungarian.
Oh, what good
Oh,
ancestry, huh?
I couldn't believe it. It's like,
Yeah,
yes,
I love it. Oh, so cool. Okay. So which one? Do we want to do the tortoise first or?
sure, sure.
Okay.
And the tortoise, of course, represents Mother Earth. And then
Yeah.
around on the turtle shell on the outer side, there's 13 sections that go around that represents the 13 months, because you go by the moon really for the months. And
Right.
then all the way around the edges is 28 little sections, and that represents the days of the month.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah. I Yeah, she pointed that out to me, and I had known that, but I had forgotten about it.
Yeah. Oh man, I
So
love
I'm
that.
going to spend some time. I'm going to spend some time with this.
Yes. Yes, as you should, right?
Mhm.
Oh, what is the
And
here we
turtle. Let's see. What do we? Oh, she says you already have all you need right where you are. So take it easy, slow down, and just this once, allow yourself to stop and smell the roses. It is okay to relax for a moment because where you are is safe and protected. Here is the garden. No one needs or wants anything from you. Relax, take a deep breath, and count your blessings. That's from Message from the Tortoise.
Yes. I love that. I
And this,
think oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, this is from the uh, Animal Totem book by Lisa Robertson.
Okay, yeah, I love it. And I think this is an amazing reminder, especially I think for like women and their healing journeys to just take a minute, relax, and enjoy the hard work that you've done. We don't
Yes.
always have to be rush pursuing, fixing, find, like all these things. We do get to enjoy life as well.
And it's nine of pentacles, and so that's like nine of coins, or as you're going around the
Mhm.
circle the first time, so you're in the 9 o'clock position, and you're just beginning with the manifestation. You're beginning to work in the world, so
Uh-huh.
I think that's so important.
Yes, it is so important. Oh, what a good one. What a good
Hmm.
card. And then we have
uh,
the
king of
buffalo.
Pentacles was the other one that I pulled out.
Oh, wow, look
And
at him. Is this a
yes.
crown?
Hmm.
Oh, I love that.
King crown.
Yeah. Oh, these cards are beautiful.
They are.
Um,
So the bison, where you are is as good as it's going to get until you can master the here and now. In this place, you have all you need to tether yourself to a past that can no longer sustain you or provide you with the tools you require to build a life fit for a king. The secret is to stop looking at what is around you and start focusing on what is inside you, for it is the conditions of the inner landscape that determines the outcome of your physical world. Message from the
wow.
bison. Isn't that
That gives
beautiful?
me goosebumps. Yeah. This is
Now, yeah, this is the King of Pentacles. And so the Nine of Pentacles is the first time around. This is the way I do it. Oh, I'm getting chills. And this is the King of Pentacles. So this is the second time around.
Mhm.
And the King is the last position of the Pentacles of uh, coming around. So you've mastered it. So there's no more, you don't need to be searching or anything. You're there.
Yeah.
Just be who
Yes.
you are.
Yep. Yes. And I love that it's such a good reminder to stop looking back. Stop looking
Yes,
backwards.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Love that. All right. Um, oh, we have a stone
Oh,
too.
yeah, that's so. That is the Buddha stone,
Oh,
Buddstone, and
okay.
that's for the turtle, and that represents the nine of coins, and that it represents ancestral wounds, and ancestral wisdom. So when you tap into your ancestors, you pick up their wounds, and now is your chance to not only pick up their wisdom, but also to help heal their wounds. So if you feel drawn to something that you know is maybe not good for you, but you wonder why,
Uh-huh.
maybe it's because you need to look at that and heal everything.
Yeah. Yep. I've learned a lot from you about healing ancestor wounds and things like that, and what an impact it can have just on your well-being and your future.
Hmm.
It's very
And
important work.
it's not necessarily even just yours, but it could be like people within your circle, people things like that. And so I believe that we are the people we hang around with or know. Sometimes we're there because we're sending out that good energy or those good thoughts, because they are interested also. Their ancestors are interested, and so we tweak them without, and we're helping out our friends without. Uh,
Like subconsciously, or
yeah, and they don't have to know that we're doing it, sort of, because
yeah,
by being true to yourself, who you are,
yeah,
the people around you all of a sudden find it okay to be who they are, and it
yes,
comes
yes,
through this.
yes, I love that. And then their ancestors can pick up on that too.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yes, I love that. And I completely agree with you. When you are true to yourself, it creates such a safe place for other people to do the same. Yes, I
And,
love
and
that.
I realized I was having a real hard time texting these pictures to you. It was one of those days. And I realized a stone isn't on here that I had, and that was the peridot, the green peridot,
Ooh,
and
yeah.
that's for the bison. So
Oh,
the
okay.
bison and
Oh,
peridot is in the ground in kimberlite in our diamond mine here in Arkansas, and I didn't realize that. I learned that at this uh, one of the classes this weekend
yeah.
in Kansas City. It comes up with the shoot of diamonds that comes up in the kimberlite, and I didn't know that
Oh,
peridot comes up with it. And she was saying also that peridot is, wherever you find peridot, it comes up out of a narrow shoot of kimberlite.
really?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
And
that is so
kimberlite
cool.
is kind of a green mud.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Hmm.
Oh,
Hmm.
interesting. Oh, I
When you
love
go
that.
diamond mining here in Arkansas, you have to wear really clothes you don't care. They're going to get stained forever in green mud.
Oh my gosh. That sounds fun. I would love to do
It
that.
is actually.
I would definitely love that. Okay, let's see here.
That's all I
Oh,
had.
okay. I forgot to text this one to you, but I did pull up the waxing gibbous moon. I
Ooh.
think that's what we're at, right?
Yes.
Isn't that the moon we have
Yes.
tonight? Okay. After I pulled that up, I was like, maybe I'm wrong. From this, it's the Sacred Cycles Oracle by Jill Pyle and M. Dewey. Still one of my favorite Oracle
I
decks.
love that picture. It is
Yes, isn't it awesome?
absolutely fascinating.
Yeah. This deck is amazing. And what I really liked about this, I didn't screenshot the whole thing, but I liked the journal prompt, which was how would it feel to know I can fully trust my physical body? What could I do if I had this trust? And I think that's a good reminder that that's kind of what we're working towards is having everything aligned and trusting yourself and trusting your body. And that, has been a big part of just my journey in general was I didn't trust myself or my body. I didn't know what intuition felt like versus what fear felt like, and things like that. And as I started to differentiate that, I was able to navigate life much, much, better than I did before. And it doesn't mean that troubles don't come along. It's just that I can spot things faster now than I could before. So I really liked that journal prompt that came with the card for today.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to show, I went to a bookstore in my area, and I think it was called Reading for People. And it's a really cool bookstore. They have a lot of spiritual things. They also have LGBTQ plus, information. It's just such a very cool place just to walk into it. But I saw these mindfulness cards for family and I picked that up. And so today I just randomly chose one just to show people, but I liked this come back as the card. And then the back of it, oh shoot, I tried to highlight it. But it basically just talks about, I won't read the whole thing, but just sitting and being mindful. But what I liked about this is at the bottom it says when don't be distracted. But if you notice you are distracted, just say out loud back, and then that will bring your attention back to your breath and being mindful. Um, I liked this because it gives you just an idea on how to be mindful, right? I mean, there's so many different ways to do it, but if you are trying to do a mindfulness practice or a meditation, um, you can you can literally just out loud say back or come back or whatever you need to say to get back into it, and that is the whole point. So people think that they're a failure if they have to say the word back or if they have to bring their mind back into it, but that you're not a failure. That is just part of the whole process. So I liked that.
I do too.
Yeah. And if anyone listening, if you are a mom wanting to do this with your kids, I recommend starting early because my teenagers are like, nah, I'm good. My youngest one is like, oh, that's it. I want to be a part of it. So start early. That's what I learned. Okay, so then I had to share, I already sent this
Oh,
a picture. Oh,
that's
excuse my dry
beautiful.
hands. But in my current obsession with copper, I went to an art show on last Friday evening, and there was a lady there who made copper jewelry, and she just like hollered out, "I make copper, I make jewelry on the spot." And then I saw a ring on her hand. I was like, "Do you make those?" And she said, "Yes." And she pulled out this big, long piece of copper wire and snipped off a part of it and said, "Give me your finger." And so then she made this, yeah, she made it to fit me so that it would go around my knuckles completely perfectly, and I could bend my fingers and do all the things I need to do without this ring getting in my way. It is,
Wow.
yeah, it was so cool. And she was so cool. And she was very just open and fun, and she would pull out stones, and she had one that she said was like an extraterrestrial stone. It literally filled your whole body with tingles and like waves of like pulsing energy. It was the coolest thing I've ever held on to. And then she had another one that she said, and I need to email her because I did get her card, and ask her what the other one was or what the names were because there was another one, it was black and it was smooth, but it had like indentations all over it. But when I held it, it felt like it was asleep or dormant, or it just didn't want to connect with me or something. But oh my gosh, it was the coolest booth I've been to in a while. Um,
Yes.
yeah. And so then I also wanted to show off this beauty. I got it at a thrift store. It's made out of stone, but I'm not sure what it's made out, what it is.
Really?
Yes, it is like, and I think it is stone. It is heavy. Um, but you can put your incense in there. So I put a bunch of dried sage and dried lavender and then an incense cone and lit the incense cone on fire. So then it would get the sage and lavender to burn just a little bit longer than normal because I love smoke. I love having smoke around me. And yeah, I am loving this thing so much. It is gorgeous. And
And it
watching the
has the
smoke rise out
lotus
of it.
on the top.
Yeah, yes. I don't know the history of this thing. I'm gonna look at the bottom real quick. See if yeah, there's not anything written on the bottom. Yeah, I don't know anything about this except for it
Well,
is
the
absolutely gorgeous.
your your top chakras at the top of your head are two lotus flowers, and they're constantly kind
Hmm.
of going like that, you know. They're
Yeah.
they're rotating,
Uh-huh.
and so that might have, and that might be like the chakras going up.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I love that. Um, yeah, it is so cool. I love it. Yeah. So go to your thrift stores, everybody. There's hidden gems
Yes,
all over the
yes, hidden
place.
gems. Yes,
Uh-huh. Okay, that was all that I had for show and
wonderful.
tell today. Yeah. We both had some exciting things. Um, yeah. Okay, so if you are ready,
Oh, one thing on March this Friday coming up. March 14th, 2025, is the blood moon. We are
Right,
having
right.
the total eclipse of the moon.
Hmm.
And depending on where you are in the country, it's around midnight-ish, something like that. It's late. I'll be asleep. But sometimes I get up to go potty and
Yeah, go take a peek.
I'll I can look and there it'll be, but it'll turn that red color.
Hmm. Yes. Yes. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, I think it's like 11:54 or like something like that.
Oh, is
And
it? Oh, okay.
at ours, yeah, I don't know where it is everywhere else, but yeah, for Iowa, I think that's what we found.
Good.
So yeah, we're saying we're gonna try to stay up for it, but we'll see what happens.
I've only stayed up for it one time. That was many years ago. I stayed up for it, and that was a mistake because I'm not a night person at all.
Not either. Yeah, I'm not either. Once I'm ready for bed, I'm ready for bed.
Yeah, yeah.
I turn into kind of a grouch. So yeah, that is awesome. So if anyone, yeah, sees it, take pictures for us. Send them over. Okay. So we had talked about getting into our books, and I thought we could start with Abomination Born. Um, and I was thinking prologue and chapter one. Let me find my notes real quick because I have specific questions. So for people who have not read Casey's book or heard about it yet, this is a fictional retelling of events that have happened in her life. And Casie remembers her life since she was born. There was a little bit of time there where she didn't remember before they lifted the veil back again. But this is a call to Abomination Born, just like her, and it is told in its storytelling, which is how people pass down stories from generation to generation, which is what Casie did here. But her call to action is if stories in this book resonate with you, or they trigger a memory, or they trigger something where you're like, man, why does that feel familiar to me? Then it is your call to start doing research into your own life and yeah, just see where it leads you. Be curious and be open, because there will be certain things in the book where you're like, I know what that is. Like I know what that. How do I know what that is? And keep keep looking, keep doing research. Anything else you want to say before we get into
Oh, that was
any?
wonderful. That's exactly it. That's my
Okay.
goal, is help
Yeah.
people to maybe they remember something too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, lifting the veil of forgetfulness, which is we have a lot of knowledge, we have a lot of things, I'll say, available to us sitting all around us, and we can't see it and we don't know. And so the whole point is to start looking and once you start discovering, you'll discover even more and then start looking at that and then you'll discover even more and you will get to the point where you realize that the world that you're living in is much bigger and massive and more powerful than what you imagined. Um, and once you start realizing that, you can make bigger impacts, just not in your own life, but in the world in general. Um, I don't know. Did that sound? I just realized I just talked for you, so I apologize.
No, yeah, that's wonderful.
All right. Okay. So, I have told Casie a few times that I wanted to get into her book and our podcast because as I'm reading it, knowing her background and reading the book, first of all, it's a wonderful story. It's very easy to read. I also read it with my 5-year-old because she's in love with Casie and her book. And so it's a story where I don't know, in case even helped me with this, I don't have to define every single thing for my daughter. She can listen to it and let her imagination put together what she needs to put together. She just likes that we're doing it together. But as me reading it, I have so many questions and I want some details on things that are very interesting to me. And so I thought we could just jump in. I am not going to read the chapters. I'm going to just jump in with the questions. So I'll let our audience know I'm going to cover the prologue and chapter one. And then in a few weeks, we will jump into chapter two. And what we plan to do is we'll cover chapters from Casie's book and then in another podcast mine and then another podcast Casie's. We'll just kind of go back and forth. So take your time reading, and we will eventually get to the chapters that you have read. Okay. So the prologue of the book jumps into action, um, very much action. And I don't want to give too much away, but Marnie is getting ready to jump into the pit. And let's see, I think it's also mentioned in chapter one, the pit, because the angel talks about people from the pit. So I wanted to ask you if you could just give us a bit of an overview of the pit and maybe some indicators on if you are from the pit, or but maybe some memories that you might have or some feelings you might have around it. And if that puts you on the spot too much, don't feel like you have to go too
No,
far
it's good.
into it.
Do you remember
Um,
a few weeks back we did one of my favorite paintings from the Crystal Bridges Museum, The Quiet Quitting Lady?
yes,
That's the
yes.
pit.
Oh,
That's the pit where we've done everything, we keep doing everything, and
yeah,
nothing seems, we're just not, you're a not, you become a nothing sort of thing.
right.
No
But you're
longer
still
really
moving.
connect. Doing everything you should be doing. Yeah, that's the pit, the quiet
Okay.
quitting. Ooh,
Okay.
just got chills all over.
Yeah. Yep. And so, for people who either didn't see that podcast or the painting, it let me see if I can describe it. The feeling of kind of like con continuous movement, but without direction, kind of a thing. It's like
Yes.
you're just you keep plugging along, but you're not making an impact on anything. You're not getting anywhere. You're just doing the motions to do the motions because you're supposed to do the motions. Is
Yeah.
that okay?
Yes. And it can get so bad that you're not you don't even do that much. Here's her picture. I've got her picture here.
Oh, yay, yes. Hold
Mm,
it up against your, oh
I
goodness.
don't know. She
Ah,
can't. It'll come, I think.
yeah. You can text it to me too if you need
There
to.
it
Oh,
is.
there.
There it is.
Yep, there she is. She gave up. She's done.
She's just laying there.
Yeah.
Oops.
And it's kind of a feeling of hopelessness, would you say? Of
Yes. Or
you don't,
not, no, no, beyond feeling hopeless. You've gone past that. It's a
yeah,
nothing.
yeah, it's a nothing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a nothing.
Lack of the life force.
Hmm.
You're
Yeah.
still, your body is still doing things, but just lack everything.
Hmm. Yep. Do you feel that people like living right now on Earth are also like in the pit, like inside their minds, or
Oh, yes.
okay.
Oh, yes. And there's
Is it
different degrees of it. At one point you could actually be down in the pit like I have it in the story. There is an
yeah.
actual place like that where it's like that. That's even beyond that. So wherever your conscious mind is going, maybe you have a part of your conscious mind, not very much, just like if you had a hand, representing your consciousness, and this little tiny baby finger is the one operating your life on, the rest of it is in this dark place.
Mm,
And
yeah.
that's the pit, and it's the quiet
Okay.
quitting. So
Yeah.
I would love people to quit quiet quitting.
Yeah.
Wake up.
Yes.
And it's not, when you wake up, maybe you don't like what you see, but at least you're awake.
Right.
Be
And
awake.
guaranteed you probably aren't going to like what you see
Yeah. And that
at
begins the
first.
healing process. And
Yeah.
and letting go, choosing again, choose
Uh-huh.
again, and no judgment.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah. I like that. And you can kind of see, when you just look out in society, I feel like you can kind of even see what contributes to the pit and what doesn't, I feel like social media, most of media contributes to the pit, and it kind of buries you deeper, deeper, deeper until you are past hopelessness. And so and I hate saying that because my job is social media and digital marketing, you know, but because of that, I see the impact that it does have on people. And yeah, I mean, I don't,
Well,
like you
you have
said,
to realize
opening your
I
eyes.
I was I was aware of the pit in 1953. This was
Yeah.
long before social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so this is an ancient thing. So uh, it's been around forever.
Yep. Yes.
And any way that it can suck your life force out of you, it will. So it could be through, it could be, uh, who knows, um,
Right.
your
Right.
family
It'd be different for
situations.
everyone.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. I agree. I won't jump into getting out of the pit and saving yourself because I feel like that is later in the book, so we'll get there. But I really liked hearing you explain it because before you started talking to me, the pit was a place, not necessarily also something that you would struggle with, you know, inside of yourself as well as, you know, going to a pit. So it is interesting to me that the struggle has levels and yeah, we have to battle that. I like that. Okay. So going into chapter one, this is when you are born on Earth, and you are talking or trying to blood talk to your mother, and she doesn't understand you. But little
Yeah.
baby Casie says, "That's okay. I will learn her language, and I will talk to her that way." Um, page 6, though. Let me get there. You are talking to the angel, the white-winged angel, and you're talking about souls and how you were born without one. And you said in here, Mom's soul has been telling me all about the earth. And I was just wondering if you could explain or expand that just a little bit, because when I read that sentence, I thought, what would a soul tell somebody who just got here? Like, you know, you don't have years to explain it. You're just like, hey, here's what I'm going to tell you real quick. Um, yeah, anyway, I thought that was so interesting. I would love to hear more about that.
Well, and the word soul, of course, my grandma talked to me a lot about all of this, and she was Hungarian, so the word she always said that English has not enough words to describe things. So the closest she could come up with was soul.
Okay.
And so what we are is we have our physical body, that's one thing. And this is her teachings, so we have the physical body, and we have our personality. This is who we know. I'm Casie. you know and
Yeah.
then we have uh, our life force that comes directly from source, and
Uh-huh.
that makes us have this direct link to source.
Uh-huh.
And then the fourth thing that we have is a soul. It's an actual being that one day will become fused with us, and it
Oh.
is it is like our super self.
Uh-huh.
It's our other part of ourself, but Grandma didn't know what else to call it, so she calls it soul. And
Okay.
um, so it's our super self.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, when Marnie is born, so like when I was born, I did not have that super self connected to my body. Um, and so I borrowed another one.
Uh-huh.
And by borrowing another one the whole 9 months, I'm getting instructions about the planet that I'm coming to, because for for me, for this is my first time to the planet. That's
Mm-hmm.
before that I hadn't been here before, so I was getting all kinds of instructions on what the planet's like, what
Okay.
kind of being in a physical body, what it'll be like. And of course, when you're in the womb, at least for me, when I'm in the womb, I'm thinking, oh, sure, I can handle that. Oh, yeah, it'll be no big deal. Oh, yeah, sure, that'll be an adventure. That'll be like, holy buckets, it's way
Uh-huh.
different than you think it is.
Uh-huh. Yes. Yeah, I think understanding that when new babies are born, they are like, what the heck?
Yes. What was I thinking? I
Yeah, put me
I
back. Like this is
volunteered for
not what
this.
I.
This is
Yes.
not what I expected.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
That's why it's
Um,
so important to be held. I don't think I really wrote too much about that, how important it
mhm.
was to be held. I remember when my mom would hold me, I was like, oh my God, I
Yeah.
needed that so bad. Oh,
Yes.
geez.
Yep. Yes. And I remember when I had my first baby, so this was 17 years ago, and people would tell me, don't hold him too much or he will
Oh,
get spoiled. Yes.
oh,
Yeah. And I remember thinking, can you hold a baby too much? And then by
no.
my second baby, I thought, well, no one's going to tell me how long or how much I should hold my baby. And then by my third baby, I was like, I will not put that, I will not put her down. But to hear,
Right.
and that was my instinct, but to hear you say that, I think, man, you know, it is
Yes.
hard coming to earth and doing all this and someone's telling your mom, don't hold them too much or, they're going to get spoiled. And can you imagine just being a little baby laying there and hearing that and thinking, what? No, pick me up. Like,
Yes. Yes.
this is hard for me. I'm by myself.
And when I was in the womb, I heard what other people said. And
Yeah.
I knew what they were saying. The soul was telling me, helping me to understand
Yeah.
English and
Yeah.
the languages and to know things.
Yeah.
And so when
And
I was born, I talk in there about the veil of forgetfulness.
yes.
I was born without the veil of forgetfulness. So I was aware. I knew everything. I remembered where I came from. I remembered
Yeah.
why I came. I remembered everything.
Yep. Yeah. And that is just so amazing. That is so amazing. I can't even imagine. I cannot even imagine what that's like. Like I get flashbacks and glimpses and things like that, but never just a full history, of anything like that. I think that is so amazing.
Grandma used to
And
say that most people, the veil comes up over them. It comes down over them, and a lot of people will have where they it lifts up a little bit and they get glimpses.
yeah.
They get glimpses of knowing something, or they'll something will be they know something, and she said that mine was all the way off.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And how was hers? How was your grandmother's?
I don't think she had a veil.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it
yeah, she
sounds like
was
she
more.
didn't.
She was
Yeah.
very aware of everything, and she was very careful not to say too much out loud.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. You don't want to get persecuted for knowing too much.
Yeah, yeah, she was very
Yeah.
careful. She tried very hard to fit in to this world. Uh, she tried very
Yeah.
hard.
Yep. Yep. Um, Going back to the soul and the, I guess, just navigating life in general, if you don't have one, how does that make your life different from other people, or do you feel it
Yeah.
does at all, or
Okay, so I have one, but she's
right?
not in my body. She has
Yes,
not gotten
sorry.
in.
Yeah. Thank
Not
you. Yeah.
inside. Yeah, and when the Watcher Angel came, it was so neat. When he came at my birth, uh, my mom had said to me later, she had said that he'd come to her other children's birth as well. And this time when he came, he had pointed at on me, and he said, "This one's different." And then after that, he put her to sleep. But that's all she remembered of seeing him. But I remembered the rest.
Right.
And
Yeah, because it was
he
probably
made
pretty
it,
traumatic.
yeah, he made it so that I couldn't have anyone else's soul in me to give me guidance while I waited for mine to come. Uh,
Hmm.
I don't know, when does people's souls come in? Did they come in right away or later? I wasn't sure because this is my first time being human, in the
Yeah.
human body. So
Right. Yeah.
that was unusual.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that would be pretty wild to navigate. And I guess it would even be hard to answer, like, how are you different from other people? Because you wouldn't know if this was your first time doing all this too.
Yeah.
So with abomination born people, Um, and I think now would be a good time to talk about like that definition as well of like how encompassing is that? Because is it people who were born, exactly like you, or is it on a spectrum kind of a thing? Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
it would be on a spectrum. That's a good way to put it, like where the veil is lifted a little bit, and they get these glimpses. It's like, what? This isn't right, or they get these
Right.
feelings or senses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I think that's a good way that you're saying it because I mean, people who are drawn to even a podcast like this, or if they're even listening, there have been instances in their lives where it was like, oh, shoot, this world's bigger than I thought. Like, wait a minute,
Mhm,
what was that?
mhm,
That was different. Like, once your eyes are open to something like that, you don't forget it. Even if you don't talk about it to anybody, you don't forget it. Okay. Yeah, that's helpful because that's what I was wondering, if it was more of a spectrum thing or, yeah. Um, I like that. And so,
and if you are, you
yeah.
know, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you're different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep, I like that. Thank you. Yes, you're right. If you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when we're talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then the other thing in chapter one was the angel. In my notes, I just called him Mean Angel. But so you had said he had been at all the other births,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but he knew that you were different, and he told your mom
Mm-hmm.
that before having her go to sleep so he could, I'm going to say deal with you, in quotes. But yeah, do you want to talk a little bit more about him? Because he pops up quite a bit in the story too. So,
Yes, he does. Yeah,
yeah,
he'll
I
be.
kind of,
All these characters are in all of the books, and
yeah.
then some are a few more added later. But yeah, so he has he's an angel, and he's a watcher angel. So um, he knows that uh, being born with the veil lifted makes a human different.
Mhm.
Um, and he's not sure that that's a good idea.
Yeah.
People don't necessarily need to know too much. And you got to
Yeah.
admit, it's pretty confusing uh, trying to fit into the world. And so he's not happy with the fact that so many people are born with the veils lifted or the veils all the way off. Um,
Okay.
that's he
Yeah.
doesn't
He
think
needs
that
people to
that's
fit into a box.
yes, that's a really good way to put it. Yes, yes, the
Yeah.
status quo.
Yeah. He needs to know what he's dealing with, and you were not what he was used to dealing with.
Yes, yes. And he knows there's a whole lot of them out there. And,
Mhm.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh, why?
Yeah. Why? Yeah. What is going on?
Hmm.
I think, from my point of view, you writing about him, was helpful to me in the fact that when I look at people like you, for example, who, the veil's off and you're much further along than I am, I think, man, she has to have the easiest life in the world, and then it shows like, nope, she's still living the same crap that I'm living, like, but with a whole other level of, dang, she even has a watcher angel that thinks she shouldn't be, here and doing all this stuff. Like, it's um it is almost adds like a level of more that you have to go through. And so it was very eye-opening to me from my point of view looking, I would think you are you 100% have this wonderful gift and your life must be so easy because of it. And that is not the truth. It actually means that you have more that you are battling and working towards. And, it gives you even more things that you have to deal with. And it was very eye-opening to me to see that and to see that even on my own journeys, as I, open up to things, that does mean that means that I have more that I have to deal with, but not necessarily like, I'm not telling people to not go open themselves up to things, but it's, I don't even know how to explain it. It was just very eye-opening to me to see what you have to deal with your gifts, because it is a gift, but also it does come with extra crap with, like extra stuff with it. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let you talk.
Well, in your uh, behind you on the screen behind you, it says we pulled knives out of our backs and used them to pin affirmations to the walls.
Hmm.
And that's exactly it. So, you know, if I would see something or in that one episode where I'm at seeing White Buffalo Calf Woman for the first time, and I'm trying to talk to her, and all these girls are hushing me because and then I'm not looking at the stage where we're all supposed to be looking. I'm looking off here at these spirits, and
Yeah.
that's just another, they're like, I could just feel them stabbing me. Like, oh gosh, why did we bring her? You know, what is she doing here? Ah.
Right. And you're
And
sitting there going, I'm having the real experience right
yes,
here.
yes, yes. And there are so many people out there that are somewhat like me, and there's a part of them that feels so alone.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
that aloneness, and that can lead to despair and
Yeah.
very dark times for them, very, very dark. And so that's why I came out with this. And that's why I'm
Yeah.
telling these stories, is so that people know they are not alone.
Yep. Yes. I love that. I think it's so courageous and I admire you for that. Yeah, I just think about, I remember being in my late 20s or early 30s, I don't remember now, and yeah, people thinking I needed to, go talk to a professional in an institution because, for something as simple as the fact that I could see or hear the ghosts that they couldn't, just little things that to me now that my eyes are
Yeah.
opened even more, that seems so small to me. Like everyone has a ghost story. Like, why would you choose me to be the crazy one for it when I know that you have one you want to share? And so, yeah, I think it's so courageous to put yourself out there. So, and, knowing that you're going to get some ridicule with it probably just to help save another person. And I think that is courageous to me.
Years
So,
ago in Florida, uh, my husband is a Vietnam vet, and we used to have a lot of veterans come over to our house and visit with us. And this one veteran, he was in a terrible battle in Vietnam, and he said he remembered the moment that his soul left him because of what he was going through there. And I knew what he was talking about, and we had been talking about this kind of stuff. And so he had never heard anyone talking about the soul not being there. And I
yeah,
was explaining to him, well, it's still your soul, and she'll come back, or he'll come back, or it
yeah,
will come back,
yeah,
um, and you just
yeah,
call it in. It let yourself be a vessel for it to be able to come back to.
yeah. I think that is super interesting too. On TikTok, there are a bunch of people talking about, and I can't remember the very specific term, but waking up, like going through an event and having their soul leave and another one come in for a while to like
Oh
take its
yeah,
place. And
yeah.
how they wake up and they look in the mirror and these people have been committed, by the way, to mental institutions, but not all of them, but some of them tell a story. They wake up and look at the mirror and they're like, they suddenly are like, oh, what is this? Like whose face is, and it's still them, but yet it also isn't.
Hmm.
And no one was around to tell them what was happening to them. So it could
Hmm.
look like psychosis to somebody from the outside. And I thought that was so interesting. And I'm glad
And
I've never,
that might also be a bit of a personality, somebody else's personality as well.
yeah,
So they might
yeah,
be blending with another personality.
yeah,
These words, do we call it a soul, or is that the personality? So there's something else. Yes.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yep. I'll send you some of those videos so you can see them. I would like to get your take on
Hmm.
them because
Yeah,
I,
the walk-ins.
yes, yes. I
Hmm.
was, yeah, I thought of you when I saw them. I was like, oh my gosh, we need to talk about this.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
maybe I'll find a couple that we can play too, so other people can see them and then we can talk about it.
And that's why I divided up, or that's why Grandma divided it up between your personality and the soul, this other super part of you, this other super being that is to
yeah,
join with you one day, to become part of you permanently one day, to fuse with you. So you have your personality that is who you are,
yeah,
likes, what, likes your peanut butter and likes different things. Uh,
Yeah.
and then you have this higher thing. And so we call that the soul. And yeah,
Mhm.
sometimes, I think that people are connecting. Somebody else has come in to help out. Let's say
Yeah.
you're in a situation you can't handle this, and somebody on the other side, their personality, who doesn't have a body at the moment, is saying, "Let me help you. Let me take over for a little while. I'll deal with this."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when I was in high school, that's what would happen. And I'd come back, and my sister would say, "Oh, it happened again. Where'd you go?" Because I would like wake up, and all of a sudden I'm in the hallway at the school, and I couldn't remember where I had to be or anything.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
so interesting. Okay, we need to
Hmm.
get more into that then in a future
Hmm.
podcast because I would like
I
to learn
should
more
write
about
about
that.
that. Yeah, I'll have to write
Yes.
about that in another story, maybe in another book,
Yeah. Yeah,
because
I
that
think for
that
sure.
alone is very interesting. And see, while I was being helped, the part that's me is off learning things. I was in classrooms, but on the spiritual side.
Yeah.
I was in these major classrooms learning all kinds of things. So when I came back, I had been busy learning new things, and so I wasn't aware of math or the
Oh,
classes that
yeah.
I had been getting good grades in.
Right. And so your sister knew when you were off and someone else was running the show. She could tell.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, that is so interesting. That is so interesting. Yeah, I think you should write about that for sure because
Hmm.
I think there are a lot of people out there that could really help them.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, all right. So, yeah, anyone listening, get the book. And there are so many things in here, and we will get to them as we go by
And
chapter by
if they
chapter.
just want to read it as a fantasy story, it's
It's also
fine.
that. Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it is such a like soothing, fun read too, if that makes sense. Even knowing the background of the book, just reading the book was very enjoyable. So yeah, definitely, like you said, if you just want to read a fantasy book, this is a good one to get into for sure. And look at that beautiful cover.
Oh, isn't it beautiful? Yeah.
Yes, so pretty. Um, okay, anything else that you would want to say about chapter one or the prologue or anything like that that you don't think we covered?
I just hope that it helps other people to realize they're not alone.
Yeah, I think it will, Casey. I really think it will. Yeah. And I know I say this every time. You writing your memories from being a child are amazing. Um, because, listening to my children speak, they don't speak like adults. And just the way that you wrote those memories on that part of the book, I don't know. It was good. It's just, yeah, you're talented. So I'm, it's good. Everybody go read it. Yay, awesome. Okay. I always try to do a recap, but my brain is just not functioning very well today. What did we learn today? You are not alone. And
Blood Moon
Blood Moon is
on
coming up.
Friday.
Yep, on Friday. So look up the time in your time zone. Um, yeah, what else? Uh, I should
The
take better notes while we're talking, but
my my new oops,
yes, yes, yep. I love that.
she's gonna sing.
And I think keep looking into stuff. If something piques your interest or something resonates with you, go research it and just
Hmm.
look at the history of it. See what other people are saying. Like, just go
Hmm.
look and just start discovering that way. It's honestly probably one of the best ways to do it. If anyone's lecturing at you, you're not going to listen. So just go discover on your own and, just see
Hmm.
what resonates with you.
Hmm.
We are all different. Like, how we receive information is different. How we expel information everything is different. So if you hear Casey and I talking about things, you're like, well, that didn't happen for me, or that's not how it just, that's fine. Like, we are
Hmm.
all so different. The whole
Hmm.
point is that we understand that and we respect it and yeah, listen to each other. So, okay. I think that's all I had.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for answering all of my questions about your book, and hopefully I wasn't too probing or disrespectful. I never know, like I don't want to cross the line with, getting you and, to talk about some of those things. So I do appreciate you being open with me and with everybody else.
Yeah.
So, awesome. Okay. Hope
Bye,
everybody has a good
everybody.
week.